Good morning, welcome to Furry and Spoilt. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I stop dog toy obsession. Harry is the one who has the toy obsession and Albert up the front. He doesn't, he just likes toys, but Harry takes it all too far and he's obsessed with them. And so I've had to work out ways to stop them. And that isn't just to take them all away and not let him have them anymore. Because he does love them and I don't want to do that. But I've worked out ways to stop the obsession. And when I get home, I'm going to go through it with you and just talk to you about how we stop it. And that's obsession from anything. It's from the toys in the toy box, tennis balls, or from socks. He's obsessed with all of our socks. It's a bit overgrown here today. We'll find our way through. So so I will talk to you all about that when we get home. See you in a bit. Bye. Okay, so let me just explain to you the situation with toy obsession. I've had dogs who aren't interested in toys at all, and then I've had other dogs who want to have their toys out all the time. And some dogs have their toys out all the time and are able to just play nicely on their own, maybe have it thrown now and again, take it to their bed and chew it, bring you a toy. Really nice, relaxed behaviour, and their toys can be out all of the time. And I've had other dogs who, like I said, just aren't interested, not interested in toys at all. And Albert, the dog at the back here, he, if there are toys around, then he'll bring you a toy now and again, not to throw it, just to bring you a toy because he wants to. It's really, really lovely. And he's really sweet and he's really gentle with all his toys. But Harry here, he is obsessive. He's also a destroyer, and it's really quite sad because little Albert at the back there, we had him for 4 years on his own. And he had some toys like in a duck and things like that, and he just used to carry them round and he'd bring them to you. He'd take them to bed and cuddle up with him. It was all really, really sweet. And then Harry came along, and Harry's a destroyer, and he just destroyed these toys within seconds. It's really sad. So the situation that we're in is, if Albert hasn't got toys, he doesn't care. He's not that interested, not that bothered. He doesn't really care. But Harry is absolutely obsessed with toys. He's the one at the front, and he's absolutely obsessed with them. And how I deal with it is, so in a minute I'm going to tell you the behaviours of his obsession. But how I deal with it is, we have a basket of toys. And when he has his basket of toys, he might sometimes have a day or two where he's just really nice with them. He just plays with them on his own, and he's just nice. It's just nice. Albert brings them to us. It's all very nice. But then it kind of builds into a crescendo where he just gets obsessive. He just will not stop asking you to play. It's all he can ever think about. You see there, as soon as I say that word, as soon as I said the PLAY word, did you see that? How he immediately sparked up. He will the first thing he'll be there first thing in the morning with his toy, putting it at your foot. You know, you can be in the bathroom and he'll be with his toy, asking you to throw it, and it gets really annoying. I mean, he'll wake you up by putting the toy on your face. You know, it's all he thinks about. He doesn't relax. He's just constantly trying to get you to throw a toy. It's not good for him. It's not good for him at all. And so what happens is the behaviour just builds up into almost, you know, into like where he's obsessed with it. And so what we do is we take the toys away when it gets like that, put them all in the basket, and then go and put them down in the shed. Because if they're in the house, he knows where they are, and he will constantly go to that cupboard and ask you to get them out. So we put them down in the shed at the bottom of the garden. Maybe the next day he might ask if you be down there asking for a few times, but then he just lets it go. And as soon as we put the toys away, he instantly just calms down. He completely relaxes. He goes back to sleeping and resting a lot. He's much more interactive with us. He's much more pleasant to be around, but he's also much happier. So this is how, that's what I do, and it's worked. I'm not saying it's the best way. Now, some people might say, well, why ever have the toys? Why don't you just not have the toys if it creates this behaviour? But the reason I like having the toys is because lots of research has been done on dogs that play are less anxious. And he's not an anxious dog now. I've done so much work with him. He's not. But he came from really horrific beginnings, and he's not anxious, but it's just kind of like it's underlying, and it can come back up. And there's two issues. Number one, I think that I want to, if playing helps that, then I want to help that. Number two, he's naturally a fat dog. He's really, really predisposed to be fat. So playing helps keep his weight unchecked. And the third thing is that he really, really likes having toys. And so if I can get him to be able to play with his toys, and it would be nice. I mean, the aim of the game for me is that there will be a time when I can get the toys out and they don't ever have to go away, that his behaviour just stays nice when the toys are out. And another thing that I do, but it doesn't make any difference, is so have the toys out, then we put the toys away, then we'll have a playtime, have the toys out, then we put the toys away. But it doesn't really make any difference, because when you've got the toys out, that obsessed behaviour, so when you end the game, it's really important if you're playing with a dog that you end the game. So I always make sure that I end the game. But he can't let it lie. He'll just, if there was a basket of toys, he's a really obedient dog, so I told him not to get them out. He wouldn't, but he'd just sit by the basket crying the whole time. So it doesn't really make any difference. It just changes the behaviour. The point is that the anxiety and it's not necessarily, I think it does build into an anxiety, because it creates a bad atmosphere, because he goes from being, because he's a really lovely dog. He's a really, really sweet, lovely, lovely, lovely dog, who generally just wants to please. But when he gets like this with his toys, he doesn't care about pleasing. He's not a horrible dog, but he doesn't care about pleasing. And he doesn't interact with the family. So rather than being on the sofas cuddling with us or just being with us, he will be with his toys obsessing and finding somebody else to ask to throw the toy. So it's not, and I don't think I'm explaining this particularly well, but he gets, it's not anxious as such, but it kind of is, but it's completely obsessed. And it's really, really unpleasant for him. And I also think it makes him really tired, because he doesn't sleep when he would normally sleep. So now, this is the time when I record my videos. That's why they're always asleep in the videos. So when we get back we do a nice good walk in the morning. And then after our walk, we get back and they sleep all morning. And that's a very natural behaviour for a dog. That's how it should be. And then at lunchtime, I do training with them. So they're up and about for lunch. And then they'll have another couple of hours sleep this afternoon. Then my husband comes home from work and all of that, dinner and all that business happens. And they have their evening routine. And that's how it should be. But when the toys are out, he doesn't sleep in the morning, he doesn't sleep in the afternoon. It's just obsessed with the toys the whole time. He's incredibly destructive with them. You can't keep and you can't really buy the soft ones. Everything's got to be, the hard toys. He's not a very big dog, but he has an incredibly strong jaw. And so he's very destructive with them. I'm not massively bothered about that particularly, but it's not a very relaxed behaviour, and so therefore I don't like it for that point. The other thing that I've got to watch is that he's a real mix of breeds, and he has a lot of Basset Hound in him and a lot of Springer Spaniel, and so he's got not little legs, but his legs his body's a little bit out of proportion to his legs. Very, very, he's got the big barrel body of the Basset Hound. And so his legs aren't quite as thick as I would like them to be, really, for his body. And so I have to watch that any playing doesn't result in him hurting his legs. That's something that a lot of dogs get injured when they're, playing, when they're throwing balls and stuff, because it's jumping up in funny old positions and stuff. So there's that. So I was generally playing just sort of gentler games where it wasn't so much running, but just throwing the ball or whatever it was a bit. I'm just going to run through my notes and just see if there was anything else. No, I don't think there was really. It's not really a very complicated thing. The obsession I've had to watch can turn to other things. He went through a stage of, well, it's not a stage, it still is the thing, where he's absolutely obsessed with our socks. And it's simply that he took a sock out of the laundry basket one day, asked me to throw it, and I did. And that's all it took. And so in our bedroom there's a chest of drawers, and one of them was full of socks. And he would spend, instead of interacting with us, and I use that time in the evenings, I'm reading in bed, and I use it to massage them. I do some tea touch with them, and just rub them all over, make sure that they're all okay. And just with my older dog down here, this is little Albert, I use that time to massage his joints, and because he's getting a bit older now. But when he is in this obsession kind of phase of mind, Harry isn't paying any attention. I can't do that because he's not with us. He's sat on the end of the bed whining at the chest of drawers. And the thing is with Harry, it's so unlike him to have that behaviour which goes against the pack and is naughty. And I can say to him no. And normally if I say no to him with anything in life, he just does it. He's such a good boy. Albert, on the other hand, isn't. He's a lovely, lovely dog. Yeah, I love him dearly. But he is his own man. But Harry, you tell him not to do something, he won't do it. But this obsessive behaviour completely stops that, and he'll ignore me and just be whining and whining at the chest of drawers. So I've taken all the socks out of there, put them into another room where he doesn't go, and left the drawer open so he can see there were no socks in there, and that stopped that behaviour. And I will never put the socks, well, eventually hopefully I can put the socks back in the drawer, but he will never get the socks back to play with. But it shows you how that obsessive mindset can be triggered by something as simple as he brought me a sock he'd stolen out of the basket and I just threw it. It's an obsessive behaviour. Now, as I talk about it, I'm thinking to myself, why don't you just stop the toys altogether? It doesn't sound like a good idea. But I still go back to what I say. I think I would rather try and cure the problem than just take it away completely, because I do believe that a dog that plays, if he's predisposed to anxiety, it does help. So from that perspective, I think it's good. And I think also if you've got a dog that's scared of fireworks or anything like that, if you have got something where they will like to play with their toys, it is a good distraction, and I think it's a good thing to have in their lives, but obviously not with the obsession. What I'm hoping is that over time he will learn. If I get up to this, obviously he doesn't see it as obsession, but if I get up to this level of behaviour, that's when she puts the toys away. And I think he's kind of getting there, because it's taking longer and longer for him to get there. So like I said, we could have 2 or 3 days where he's just lovely. He's enjoying his toys. He's not asking for anything to be thrown. He's just carrying them around, chewing them, whatever. But he doesn't bother us for them to be thrown or anything like that. He's not obsessive. They're not with him all the time. He's still interacting with us, still having his evening massage and cuddles, and everything's normal, but he just has the toys. But then it turns into this obsessive behaviour. I want him to understand, right, when it turns to the obsessive behaviour, that's when she puts all the toys away. And so I think what I'm actually going to do is start to be a bit sharper, because I think what has been happening is I maybe put up with that obsessive behaviour for a day, thinking me saying no is going to teach him no. But I think actually what would be better is, as soon as that obsessive behaviour starts, almost to the point of the second you bring the first toy and put it down at my feet, which is the funny thing about that is that's quite a dominant behaviour, because you're going to the pack leader and you're demanding that he play with you. That's a dominant behaviour. Really, the pack leader should be the one who starts the game and finishes the game. And that is incredibly unlike Harry. He really is not. He is nowhere near the top of the pack. He's right at the bottom of it, and that's where he wants to be. And he's shown really clear signs of that all the time. And it's where he wants to be. It's where he's happy. So the toys bring out a really horrible side to his personality, which I know doesn't make him happy. So what I'm going to do from now on is I will still get the toys out and see if he wants to play nicely and have a nice time with them. But I'm going to be much quicker on the when he starts the obsessive behaviour. So the second he puts a toy down in front of me, and he puts them down in front of my husband as well. So I'll say to the second he brings a toy and puts it down in front of you, that's when the toys go away. And I mean, he's 5 now, so he's got a lot of life left in him. And I don't want to say to him, you can't have any more toys, because if I can get him okay with it, then that's what I want to do. So I am going to, the second that he brings a toy to any of us, then that's when the toys go away. So the toys can be out and he can have them, but they are just for him to chew and for him to play on his own. They are not for any obsessive behaviour, and I hope that's going to work. I'll certainly update you on it and let you know how that's going. It is an ongoing thing. Luckily, and I'm very grateful for this, that when I put the toys away, like I said, we might have a day where he keeps going down to the shed and whining, but he drops that really quickly. It might not even be a day, just a few hours. He drops it really quickly. It's no big deal. And I'm really, really grateful that after that he gets the message and he just goes into relaxed mode and he's back to his normal self. So we'll see. I might having, you know, sort of, you know, it's like you say something out loud and you sort of think, oh, I don't know. Having talked out loud about this, I might go a longer period without getting the toys out again. I'm going to have to think about it. I'll definitely keep you updated on this situation. But I just really wanted just to not really tell you what I do, because I don't think I necessarily have the solution for this at all. But I did want to explain to you what toy obsession is like, because you could have a dog that's really badly behaved, like disrespecting you, showing dominant signs, barking, not sleeping, and agitated because they're not sleeping, and barking, and just not particularly pleasant to be around. And it could just simply be that he's got toy obsession and that you need to take his toys away. It really, really could be that simple. Or if I didn't take his toys away and just had them out all the time and let the behaviour just be, he would be really awful to live with. And not just would he be really awful to live with, but he would be very unhappy, because he'd be so tired, because he wouldn't be relaxing. He just wouldn't be happy. He wouldn't have interaction with his pack. He'd be agitated. He wouldn't be a happy dog at all. He really wouldn't. And so taking them away is definitely best for him. Whether or not he gets them back again, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm going to give it some thought and see how I go. Can you, if you have got a problem with, well, not a problem, but you've got a dog that gets obsessed with toys, then please can you let me know? Let's talk about this. Let's see what everyone's thinking and what people are doing, whether how you're treating it, if it's working or not. I have heard, like, I used to have a German Shepherd and he was absolutely obsessed with, you know, the plastic rings you get. I used to take them out on our walks because he needed a good run. So I used to take him out on our walks and I would go to a massive field and throw them, and I can throw, I'm quite a good thrower, and I can throw quite far. And these rings would go flying and he would go thundering across the field to get them and come back. And it was great. It was a really good way to exercise him. It was great. But he got completely obsessed with them, completely. And never had them in the house. I only had them in the out on our walk. And he got completely obsessed with them. So someone said to me, you need to buy like 20 of them and then he won't be obsessed. So he'd go out on the walk and I'd take like these 20 rings. I had them all up my arm. So there were just rings everywhere, and it completely broke the obsession, because there wasn't just like one ring, and it wasn't just like this obsession. And that worked no end. And I've heard people who have got dogs who are completely obsessed with tennis balls, and they just go out and buy 100 of them, and they're all over the place, and the obsession just drops because there's no panic about it anymore. They're just everywhere. And I think I was kind of a little bit going down that theory with Harry. He's got a massive basket of toys, but it hasn't worked. If anything, it's just made it worse, because it's just more toys, there's more options, there's more things to get obsessed about. So I don't think it's worked. I think it's made it worse. And I have gone the other way. I have tried just getting one toy out and just giving him that and seeing how he's gone, but the obsessive behaviours still come. It's just come with that just one toy. So there's always a challenge with dogs, isn't there? There really is. There was always something going on. There's always a problem, and I generally always find at the moment with my two, it's always one or the other. They don't seem to have the same problems. So that's him now having his little sleep. I feel sorry for him. I wish he could just have all his toys out all the time and behave nicely with them. But I'm only doing the behaviours so that what's best for him, so he's at his best and he's happiest. That's always my mission in life. It's always to make sure that my boys are happy and doing what's best for them. So that's it. So I'm going to go now. As always, I'm on Instagram, on Twitter, Furry and Spoilt. Oh, hashtag Furry and Spoilt. Show me who's furry and spoilt in your life. The website, I'm doing it at the moment, so it may or may not be up by the time you're watching this video. Any questions at all, don't hesitate, put them in comments. Even though I'm experimenting with this situation, and look at the back of his head and his curls. Gorgeous little boy. I'm experimenting with this situation at the moment, but it doesn't mean you can't ask me questions. I might be able to help you with what you've got. And like I always say, there will be more experienced more experienced dog owners. I crochet, by the way, that's why I say crochets. More experienced dog owners in comments who might be able to help you with any problems. But any problems at all, not just dog obsession, any problems at all, ask me. I've got years and years and years of experience with problems with these little critters. What's that in his? He's got something stuck in his fur. I have to get that out. Right then, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you and your dogs have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.